water fire signs, to your numerology reading for September. I hope you guys are doing great out there. If you friends like this, please like and subscribe. And if you know other people who this could be interesting to, and maybe they're interested in watching this or learning this, go ahead and share that video. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. We got Cancer, Leo, Cusp, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Cusp, and Pisces, Aries, Cusp. My voice seems a little raspy, guys. It's because I'm trying to quit smoking. Okay, so I'm chewing the crap out of this gum, which seems to kind of not always, it's not always as kind as you would think it would be. Sometimes it makes my throat a little scratchy. So please excuse the roughness and harshness of my voice. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Best message, please. Teaching and learning with number 57 coming out. It's a great card right there. 57. Spirit wants you to understand that if you are seeing 5s and 7s together, bringing out that 12, so it could be like 412. Also 12 is breaking down to 3, so it could be seeing those kind of numbers. A lot of you might be actually seeing 12s though, like 212, 112, things like that, which is also talking about that teaching and learning. And 12 is exactly that, right? So it's saying teaching, learning, what are we doing, right? Bringing in that peace, that harmony, that new beginning, a lot of balance going on as well, and intuition with that too. So this card has indicated a time of significant learning and growth, when the wisdom you will gain will be the great benefit to others too. There is much potential for you to teach what you've experienced. In fact, your life lessons are just as valuable as your academic knowledge. Therefore, every trial and tribulation can help you be of service to the world. So this card encourages you to have faith in your ability to teach, because teaching is simply passing on to others information they didn't already know. You probably already do this by sharing the lessons you've learned and the discoveries you've made with your colleagues, friends, members, children, friends. So don't underestimate the importance of what you have to say. It's like every day we are sharing things, right? And right now it's a really good time to share. There could be someone out there who really needs that knowledge. Maybe there's a teenager around you who, for instance, like I'm trying to quit smoking. So if I really came across some kid that was trying to smoke, I would be like, look, you already know what is going to happen. Okay. You already know that knowledge, but let's get to the point of when you don't want to smoke anymore. And it's been like 30 years, right? You know how hard it is to quit doing this? It's not like something you think you're just going to throw it away. You think, right, that it's going to be so dang easy. But let me tell you, this is like my 15th time trying to quit smoking, and I'm actually doing a wonderful job. For once, I've actually gotten past the markers that I've never passed before. But you see the point that I'm making is like you think one thing, but you're teaching people these, stepping stones within your own life lessons, that you don't realize sometimes that you're actually being a teacher. You're actually teaching them things that you've learned on your lessons. That's why sometimes we say, heal from the things that you've learned, throw away things that are no longer necessary. But the teaching tools of things that you know, they're just stepping stones to your past. You want to leave those there though, right? Because once I stop smoking, if I see another cigarette, I want to be able to know those stepping stones, understand, whoa, you know what? I don't want to touch that again. You know how hard it was? I haven't done this for, 2-3 weeks now. I don't want to replay that again, revisit that. So sometimes you want to keep those things so you do not revisit those. They're good markers for you not to go backwards in life, right? And then they also become these wonderful teaching tools for others because you keep them in your mind as, I remember that. And that was a pain in my butt, for sure. So 99, making sure that you are using the compassion, making sure when you are teaching and, these, whoever, sometimes it's just even adults. You might even went through something and said, you know what, I went through a relationship like that once. You probably don't want to do that because it doesn't always work out the way you want it to work, right? So make sure that you're really perceptive on what's going on, right? But make sure the guys you are using this compassion, having the empathy, right, towards other people's hardships. You know, showing them also the compassion of how you feel about the situation, using your own empathy towards it, because that also makes people want to pay attention, right? Instead of just, don't do this, don't do that. You know what I mean? You want to actually show that compassion towards whatever it is you're teaching, showing them you actually have something to really give out there so that they can actually learn from it, right? Because I don't want to go out there and just be like, well, you shouldn't smoke. You're smoking, you know, that's not going to do shit for no one, right? It never did for me. You sitting over here calling kettle black and doing all that stuff doesn't help anybody, right? You want to use that compassion, that empathy, that I understand what you're going through, right? Let me teach you something, or let me tell you my experience. And most of the times when we're teaching, it's not even you saying, let me teach you. You're saying, let me tell you my experience about the situation. I understand where you're coming from. So, very beautiful. And you might even see a lot of 99s over here. And you might be learning something also from someone, right, who is teaching. So if you're in that learning area, right, make sure that you are giving yourself the compassion to want to listen, right, to what's going on around you. So beautiful numbers over here, as we're always learning and growing. And I definitely am too. The end of a tough cycle approaches, absolutely. And this is where that's really coming in with this full moon in Capricorn. It says the end of the tough cycle is approaching. As you are learning, you are teaching others, however it is, you know, if you're really looking at it. Sometimes we're teaching, we don't even know it. Sometimes we're learning and we don't realize this is a test and tribulation, but it's almost over. 99 equals 9. It means through the compassion, it's over, right? We've learned. We're getting there. We're on that path to this new destiny, to this understanding of what's going on around us. A personal issue reaches its resolution. Look at that full moon in Cancer. So yes, through the compassion, this personal issue reaches that resolution as it's coming through with understanding, right? Oh my gosh, guys, it's so awesome. So let's see. Let's see what's going on over here. I want to use some of these cards over here. Spirit has to say over here on the end of the cycle approaches is mental repetition. Yeah, keep telling yourself the same thing over and over again. That's kind of reminds me of myself right now. But I do have Leo in my chart, even though I'm not, you know, I have no water in my chart, but I do have that Leo in my chart. But I do kind of feel like it's myself in some ways over here. I can resonate with my own reading. I love that. And a lot of times I don't. But with the mental repetition, just to keep telling yourself, I can do this. I am strong. Right? You can also use the mental repetition to your children, to the person that you are teaching. You know, and keep telling them the same things, encouraging them with compassion. So as you teach others with compassion, you can also learn through compassion. As you're teaching them, you're learning as well. So it's really a double over here, right? But you have that mental, you know, repetition. You are strong. You can do this. 8 plus 2 is the 10. That's a bring. Yeah, see, that's bringing in the 1, right? Of the what? The new cycle. The new cycle of how you're approaching the situation. Whether it's for yourself or others, or like I said, 2 in 1. A lot of times we teach others to actually learn ourselves. So with the personal issue reaches resolution over here is nurturing the situation. 4, bringing in that balance, bringing in that nurturing of the 4. The 4 wants to nurture. It's stable. It's, you know, bringing that extra, I do care, that compassion. It's very compassionate. Bringing in your heart chakra to make others, you know, understand what it is you're going through, but you also want them to kind of believe. Believing is making them understand that, you know what, I do believe that you do care by the way that you're teaching me. You know, you're not just telling me a bunch of BS, right? You're actually nurturing me. You're healing me. You're loving me through the center of your soul. As we use compassion, we don't want to just make people believe, you know, just believe what I tell you. You know what I mean? And it's like, but you don't believe it. Why would I believe it, right? So, yes, this will help release for both of you. This is so beautiful. There's that 5 coming in again with the teaching and learning as you are releasing that empathy and releasing that compassion to this other person, to yourself, wanting to make sure that it's balanced between the both of you as well. Unless it's just yourself, and that's fine. Teach yourself, and learn from yourself. Yes, once again, learning. 2 plus 5 equaling that 7. So bring in that 5 and that 7. And 2, there's that balance and that intuition with that learning. Learning to give yourself that mental repetition. Learning to give out that compassion. It's like this innocence, though, that's to it, too. As I see this child over here, it's like an innocence of unconditional love. A child has unconditional love. They don't know anything else at that time until they grow older. And because of that innocence that they have. And believing in luck, too. You see that ladybug on this wheat that he's holding is literally, it looks like a wheat stalk. But it's definitely seeing that ladybug over here with that good luck, understanding fortune, understanding things within the universe that only, through a child, seeing things through a child's eyes. Is that there's a lot of butterflies over here too. There's a lot of transformation, a lot of healing with the water and understanding. This card is more nurturing than we realize. And so many more. Actually, I think this card's more nurturing with the learning than it is actually with this one. This one's very nurturing, of course, but I think this one really gives both. But this one's also telling you to give yourself the rest and the peace of mind and the emotional stability as well with all the water. Yes. Very beautiful. So let's get a couple of cards over here and see what's going on over here. Beautiful reading. Making sure that we just understand that, we're all here to learn and we're all here to teach each other, but we all want to nurture each other and make sure that we are using compassion. People, we're here to learn. We're going to make mistakes, every one of us. Coming together, yes. Somebody is seeing a lot of 1s, 2s, 4s, and 3s. That is for sure. With the coming together of the 2 of Cups, that once again is that learning and loving and that compassion that you have. See, as he is holding this together with this child. It looks like a child to me. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I see a child right now. Maybe it's not. But however it is. I guess it's not a child. I guess that's a woman. A very short woman. He's a very tall man. Making that woman look like a child. Okay. He's like 6'3". She's like 5'6". Got it. Okay. So embrace whatever it is that that's going on. I think I'm just seeing a lot of child right now because we're thinking from a child's point of view. There's a lot of innocence in when we're doing things. Because if we're not looking at it through the perception of the innocence of that unconditional compassion of a child's love, we have a hard time teaching. We have a hard time learning as well, because we don't want to just go around to people and say, do as I say, not as I do. This isn't one of those things, right? This is one of those things where it's like, you don't understand. I'm trying to give this love. I'm trying to push the trueness out. Right, I'm trying to push everything I know. And like I said, even if you're giving it to someone or even to yourself, reparenting yourself, that would have been the card that I would have loved to have seen if I had that deck out, would have been reparenting yourself. Being very nurturing and loving to yourself as you do to others and treating others the way you would want to be treated in this type of situation. If you really want to learn something, we don't want to hear all this hypocritical crap. We want to hear the truth. We want to hear what's real, but we also want to have that empathy from a person saying they've got your back. I have that support. You supporting yourself, you supporting others. Because people really don't learn when people just push out stuff that has no backing. There's no footing. There's no love. There's no nurturing. Because, you know, in a lot of ways, when you do things like that, it kind of just pushes people away. It pushes people to, whatever, hypocrite, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Because that's, I mean, and that's a lot of reasons why people don't stop smoking, is because you're always telling them the negative. You're always telling them the things that, you know, they either already know. I know it does that. Jeez, thanks. Oh, you got emphysema. That's wonderful. Good for you. Do you see what I'm saying, though? We don't see it in these terms, because not everybody in the world gets emphysema. My grandma died. She was 75 years old. She smoked since she was 16. She never had emphysema, my friends. She never had cancer. She never had anything that had anything to do with smoking. Okay? You see what I'm saying? So those things are not going to work. You just see what I'm saying? So it's like this agenda. You see what I mean? And it becomes almost like, for people who have bad habits, it becomes almost more like propaganda. We don't want to hear that. We want to hear things of, you really don't want to do that. It's really expensive. And, you know, when you really get off, God, it's so hard to get off, you know, and you might even have a, you know, smoker's cough. Most people always have the smoker's cough no matter what. That's pretty much the only thing she had was the smoker's cough, of course. But do you see the point I'm making? When you're really trying to get off something, you want this loving support. You don't want to hear all these negative propaganda things. Let's nurture this situation and keep them away from certain, and the same with yourself. If you're dealing with someone who is not very loving, you don't want to just veil it away. Listen to those who can hear. Right? When you're talking, you want them to hear you. When you're talking to yourself, you want to hear yourself. And the only way to do that is to open up your heart chakra. I hope that makes sense. And keep giving yourself, you know, I can do this. I'm strong. I'm going to fall. If I fall, it's okay. I can always pick back up. And when I get up, maybe I'll be stronger. And I'm going to put out as much strength as possible. Absolutely. You want to avoid any kind of conflict. There doesn't want to be any harm. There needs to be no harm through this situation. We don't need any misunderstandings. We need everything that's going to help make a process, help those understand things, help those come together, right? With that self-care. And you know, this is that mutual attraction and that unconditional love. As we mutually become attracted to each other and we have this unconditional love and understanding of what's going on, and we can learn and teach from this place within our home, our hearts, then yes, we'll have the development. We'll nurture the situation as you are becoming, whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter, you become the imprints. Whether it's just, you know, the good, practical, good parenting skills. And you can even see it doesn't matter what the age is, it's still good parenting skills. Okay? And that was it for you, my friends. Until next time, peace and love. Bye-bye.